Good evening, everybody. What's up? What's up, Fury Fighter? What's up, Satellite? What's up, Mizroy? Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy New Year in Nintendo Power. Woo! It's 1996. How about that? Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing pretty good. It was been a good day. Difficult at times. Had some stuff I had to take care of today, but came out in a good place, I think. Had some time to play some more Hell Clock too. That was nice. I'll wait a tiny bit to talk about that. I really want to compare notes with Eva, assuming they're gonna be here tonight, but yeah. A little tired, but okay. This is Restrained. Yeah, Nintendo Power. I don't think this is gonna hold up throughout the entire year, but Nintendo Power kind of has like a weird minimalist thing going on. At least with this bonus January issue. In fact, I'm going to show you the physical version of this one. I actually kind of hated it. Much more excited by 1996 and 2026. Yeah, tell me about it. Jesus. Good evening, Loaded High. Thank you so much for subscribing for 68 months at Tier 3. I really appreciate it. Your generosity truly knows no bounds, especially with your upcoming efforts to facilitate our Nintendo 64 experience. I do really appreciate it. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's, you know, I'm just eternally thankful for your help. Good evening, PM Collector Boy. This baby here is the N64 controller Starfighter. I think it's funny they didn't even have like proper renders of it, because these like CG versions floating around the page are not actually how the real ones are laid out. These are like the Temu versions. Do not remember that cover at all, and I was still subscribed at this point. Yeah, let me grab it real quick. Another thing that happened at this point, it actually happened in December, not January, but they changed the form factor of the magazine. The December issue was actually smaller, like this much smaller than the traditional Nintendo Power printing. Not a huge deal, but then they followed it up with a new spine. I don't know if you can see this, but wait, you know what? Let me just get another issue. I was like, I could just talk about it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, it's Staples time. Here, let me embiggen myself. Hello, everybody. So yes, this is the January issue that we will be beholding tonight, and this is the November issue. Now, I grabbed the November issue because the December one, like I said, was kind of like a weird midpoint between them, where it still had the glued spine, but it had the smaller form factor. But, I mean, straight up, you just stack them like this, and you can see how the magazine used to be, like, I don't know, like a centimeter taller. Again, not a big deal, but also different spines now, which I really, really can't show you very well. But yeah. Yeah, they didn't? Hold on one sec. Okay. Okay. Interesting note about this period in Nintendo Power. The stapled spine only lasted about a year. They will actually go back to the glued spines in 97. So yeah, there's just this weird, like, slimmed down section of my Nintendo Power library that has these. Cost cutting in the 90s? It might have, I mean, honestly, it might have just been purely for style. I mean, it gives the magazine a different feel to it, a different vibe, because it does allow the cover to wrap around to the back like this one does. Whereas with the more traditional issue, the spine was very much a border between the front and back covers. So I don't know how much of this they really considered when making that decision. The other thing about the January issue, and the reason that I don't like it, is it actually has like a fold-out cover, which looks cool. It's a neat design. It gets you hyped for the Ultra 64. What we know now is the Nintendo 64. The problem is, if you try to shelve this, this French door cover gets caught on whatever you're trying to shelve it against and like rips halfway off. So yeah, never was a big fan of this one. 1996 is going to be a very awkward year in Nintendo Power. I'll go ahead and put that out there. I know I've mentioned it before, in fact, but yeah, this is going to be a weird one, and it's for a very simple reason. Right here in January, they are heralding the coming of the Nintendo 64. It's on your doorstep. It's coming down the street. It's going to be here. And you're gonna have to listen to this shit for the entire year, because the Nintendo 64 did not actually ship in America until like November of '96. So yeah. It wasn't available in my area, which was Washington, D.C., until December. So we're going to be in this awkward space where they spend the entire year hyping up something while also trying to fill their pages with more Super Nintendo stuff. I'm also not 100% sure when exactly the Virtual Boy dies in their eyes. I mean, they've got features this month on Jack Bros and Tetris Blast, so we're not there yet. And we will mark the occasion when it happens, but yeah. Remember stock being real spotty that Christmas season? I almost didn't get one, yeah. And then, of course, I got one, but our TV was one of the older types that didn't have RCA connectors. So I opened it up for Christmas, and then I wasn't able to play it until I think the next day. My dad went out and got an RF connector for it, and none of us were happy about that. That was kind of an auspicious start to the Nintendo 64 era, one that never really recovered. Also, good evening, QT Go. Good to see you. Yeah, they switched to staple binding for about a year. I didn't count. It's either a year or like 18 months. But yeah. Has anyone who worked for Nintendo Power ever emailed you? I doubt it. Maybe. No, they haven't. It would be really cool, but I think this channel more or less flies under the radar of folks who would be involved in such things. So I occasionally get the attention of indie developers whose games I feature, but outside of that, not really. It's a question rather when their eyes died in the Virtual Boy. Good evening, ball of work. Yes, I believe you are correct on that. Blessed fucker parents took it out of the box and wrapped everything separately so there wasn't any obvious N64 size box on it. Wow, that is insidious. That is insidious. I kind of love it. My parents would always hide the biggest present because it would be from Santa. So, yeah. So, like, the year that it... Yeah, Christmas of 1996, when I got the N64, there was no N64 shaped box sitting under the tree. It just magically manifested that morning. So, I actually enjoyed that tradition so much. I requested that they continue it long past the point they otherwise would have. It was a fun surprise. Stepdad had gotten an N64 with Hex, and he would get lost in the first level of the game and quit after like 20 minutes. I forgot Hexen was on the N64. Oh man. Maybe we should try working our way through that version of it. Hexen, yeah. There's a deep cut. I've talked about streaming Hexen on this channel. I still intend to at some point. In fact, you've just brought it back to the forefront of my mind. So thanks for that. You know not what you do. Yeah, it's not very hard to get lost in Hexen. I think it's the natural state of the Hexen player to simply be lost. Gotta be better than SNES Doom? Well, we'll find out at some point, won't we? Love Hexen and Heretic. I've only really put time into the original Heretic, Shadow of the Serpent Riders. And I want to like it more than I do. But Heretic, to be completely honest with you, I don't think Heretic has the design chops that made Doom such an enduring classic. I think the enemies are too spongy. I think the levels are not as interesting as they need to be. I think the weapons could do with some punching up, but that probably goes hand in hand with the enemies being really, really spongy. I would describe Hexen as Doom, but all the secrets and levels are mandatory progress. Hexen is the best of the OG OSTs. It was remade for it. I don't know where I am, but there are things here and I'm killing them. Any stories of people seeing red-colored ghost images after playing Virtual Boy for an extended period? I don't know, because I didn't know anybody that even had a Virtual Boy. And like the Virtual Boy basically just had zero cultural impact. I think this is important to remember. Like we joke about the Virtual Boy as a massive flop and burning people's eyes out of their sockets. The fact of the matter is nobody played the damn thing. Nobody bought it. Nobody played it. It has zero lasting cultural impact other than the dim awareness that Nintendo once made a really crappy system. N64 port is just okay. It works. Has functional split screen co-op. N64 controls suck shit. One stick and all that jazz. I mean, first-person shooters should be right at home on the N64. I do want to make that clear. Using the C buttons as basically as WASD and using the stick to look is like, it should be second nature. It should be the simplest thing in the world. Unfortunately, most first-person games on N64 didn't do that, and kind of suffered for it. So I forget if Turok used that control scheme. I know GoldenEye didn't. I know GoldenEye you moved using the stick, and you had to hold one of the top buttons to free aim with it or something. I don't remember you could customize that or not. But yeah. It's honestly one of the tragedies of the Nintendo 64 is like first person developers on it just didn't really get it right. Turok used the C buttons for circle strafing. Yeah, the ideal setup is you put forward, backward, and strafe on either the C buttons or the D-pad, preferably the C buttons. And you put free look on the stick. But I don't know how many games actually did that. Well, we'll find out together eventually. Also, Hexen 2 in the Quake engine, that game is rough. A little easier overall. There's no interact button. You just rub against things, but the enemies are huge jerks. Yeah. I don't know that I'll full play them, but I do want to play through the Heretic Hexen series. Yes, that includes Heretic 2, if I can somehow find a copy of it. That game is vapor, it's bordering on lost media, frankly. There's nowhere to get it. I think it fell into a rights chasm and has never managed to reemerge. But yeah, I think pretty much everybody on digital distribution has Heretic, Hexen, and Hexen 2. But Heretic 2 was like scourged from the earth. Along with the middle newer Wolf, the middle Wolfenstein. Eva, good evening. Thank you so much for subscribing for 55 months. My God. Revolution X, I'd wonder how a bunch of old has-beens would get involved in video games, but I watch this channel. Oh my God, Chaos, you actually have a hard copy of it. That's amazing. Yeah, yeah, like 2000. So there was. Oh, this is so complicated. The Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein is such a difficult series to keep track of, because there was original Wolf 3D and like the Spear of Destiny and some add-on packs for that, and then in the late 90s, early aughts, there was Return to Castle Wolfenstein, which was awesome, and then I think Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. Yeah, I know original Wolf 3D. I know there was something before that, but nobody remembers the thing that came before that. Return to Castle Wolfenstein was early aughts. Okay, thank you. Yeah, there was Return to Castle Wolfenstein and Enemy Territory. And then Raven made a new Wolfenstein just called Wolfenstein in the late aughts. Yeah, like 2009 or so. By all accounts, that one was fine. I don't remember anybody like gushing over it, but it seemed to be pretty cool. And I think that was the last Wolfenstein thing before Machine Games got a hold of it and did, well, the Wolfensteins the modern era of Wolfenstein. So there's basically the OG era of Wolfensteins around like Wolf 3D. There's the modern Wolfensteins, the Machine Games ones. And then there's that awkward middle generation in the aughts with Return to Castle Wolfenstein and the one that was just lost to time. New Order was 2014. New Colossus came about 2 years after. Of the newer Wolfensteins, I've only played New Order. I haven't played Old Blood. I haven't played New Colossus. I haven't played Young Blood. And I mean to, because New Order was great. And I think they're all pretty cool. But yeah, original Wolfenstein is stupid hard. Yeah, you cannot play. I think the hardest thing about original Wolfenstein is that you can't play it like Doom. And you really, 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 really want to. Was the sequel to the original Atari ColecoVision, like Return to Castle Wolfenstein, well before Wolf 3D? I think so. Activision was a publisher for Heretic 2. I remember being on our list of games we supported, which is how we got hard copy. Yeah, I think Activision published Heretic 2 and that middle Wolfenstein, and I think that's why they vanished from the earth. Because I think the rights between Activision and id got all screwy. Wolf Enemy Territory is a weird one. Multiplayer only released for free because they messed up the single player. Yeah. Figured to start New Colossus this year since I started New Order last year. Seems topical. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think Grunfodder was referring to, yeah, like OG 2D Wolfenstein, Castle Wolfenstein. Shooting Nazis only becomes more relevant as time goes on, frankly. I hope that someday it becomes the national pastime once again. But anyway. Ported all over the place for the era? Yeah, can imagine. Yeah. Anyway, chat, I will not take up the entirety of tonight's Power Hours venture with chatting, because it has been a hot minute. It has been a moment since we last did the Power Hours, and I think we are all owed some magazine in these new and uncertain times. So let us turn our minds away from the trials and travails of 2026 and look back to a arguably simpler time in 1996. But yeah, this is the bonus issue, chat. It represents a sea change in the magazine. Things are gonna be different, and since it's been a while since we last did the Power Hours, it might not come as too much of a shock. The general structure remains the same. You can see over here the every issue section. I mean, if you can read their shitty cursive font. Players Paul's power charts, classified information. They call it just classified now. Counselor's Corner, Arena Now Playing, Pack Watch, Players Poll, Context, and Next Issue all remain the same. Is everything about to get even more fonted? Yes. Yes, it is. This issue, at least, the gonzo aesthetics boil down mainly to fonts. So it's gonna be hard as hell to read what's going on, but yeah. Like, who made which version of Serious Sam, which seems to be passed around. But yeah, Serious Sam is all over the place. When I did my Serious Samathon, back when I was still doing reviews, it was tricky just figuring out which version of Serious Sam was which. Like, which one's the most recent, which one's the most supported, which one's the best. Someone at Nintendo Powers decided to use all 2000 font pack CD they bought. Exactly, Bollower. Good advice. Sage advice. Good evening, Numberless Dread. Good to see you. So, this issue, the big news, of course, is up there. The Nintendo 64 debuts. 11 months too early, but don't worry about that. You've seen the system and the controller. Now check out the stunning games for the Nintendo Ultra 64. The Power Editors dropped in on Tokyo's Shoshinkai trade show for an in-depth preview of the most anticipated video game system for 1996. Is anyone actually fluent in wingdings? I would be endlessly impressed with somebody who was, yeah. Crow Team-a-thon would make a good Halloween stream. Serious Sam Hain. I like that. Oh, that's cool, Eva. That's pretty cool. All right, so full coverage this issue. We got Earthworm Jim 2, which, yes, we will take a look at. Because I know Earthworm Jim 1 better than I ever intended to, but Earthworm Jim 2 is a bit of a question mark for me. Revolution X, which I'm sorry, I have a soft spot for this game. Doom Troopers, Scooby-Doo, PGA Tour 96, Jack Bros, Tetris Blast, and Frank Thomas Baseball. Pretty sure those last three are Virtual Boy titles, so hold on to your eyeballs for that. There's only a single Take-Two review this month, The Getaway. The Nintendo 64 debut is the special feature du jour. And then we've got the Epic Center, featuring Breath of Fire 2, Epic Strategies, and Epic News. So, frankly, for an anniversary issue, this one seems pretty thin. I don't know if there are any subscriber-only bonuses in this. They don't mention it. So, yeah. It always astounds me that Crow Team made both Serious Sam and the Talos Principle. It's crazy, right? It is absolutely crazy. Because Serious Sam is the most, like, head empty shoot dudes game ever, and I love it for that, don't get me wrong, but like the Talos Principle is one of the smartest puzzle games out there. It's crazy. All right. So anyway, chat, let's get to it. I'm going to turn the page. We will engage the requests. Let them be hot and heavy as needed. And let us get to it. Talos Principle 2 is still some bonkers nonsense. I need to play it. I really do. All right, nerd letters. What's going on? Responses to our request for dream game ideas continue to come thick and fast. Lots of readers want Zelda, Final Fantasy, Earthbound, Super Metroid sequels. Here's some other excellent creative and just plain weird concepts from our readers. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Finished Kathy Rain 2 is really good. Eva, I have continued to play Hell Clock. The normal post game is really hard. The alternate post game, the Ascension mode, is really cool. They came up with something pretty neat for that. Real quick aside, chat, on the topic of Hell Clock. When you beat Hell Clock, it unlocks 2 endgame modes. It unlocks the normal one where you just increase difficulty, keep all your stuff, and keep on chugging. That one's kind of cool because they actually gave the bosses like new patterns and stuff. So it's not just the same game, but with all the numbers screwed up. But they also have like a second experimental mode that you have to start a new game for called Ascension mode. And what that one is you get a limited number of runs to try and beat the game. And since the game is broken up into 3 chapters, it's actually you get a certain number of runs sort of per chapter. Like when you start, you get 7 runs. And if you beat Act 1 within those 7 runs, I think they give you another 7 on top of that. So they give you 7 per act. And when you run out of runs, you start the game over. You get to keep your meta progression. You get to keep your constellations and I forget what else. But they also put you on a progression tree that makes the game harder. I think they call it like the infernal tree or something. But they give you like 10 points and you have to invest them in things that make the game harder. But you get to choose how they make the game harder. You get to choose if you have lowered resistances or if additional enemies spawn or if bosses have additional patterns or something. It's really cool. I really, really like it so far. It's still a work in progress. Parts of the tree are like TBA. But it's pretty neat. And I honestly like it better than the standard progression mode. Doesn't Hades do something similar? I have no idea. I never actually finished Hades, to say nothing of Hades 2. Earthworm Jim 2 is easier and not as interesting. The bonus stages are way more varied. Earthworm Jim 2 also has a gun called the Barn Blaster, the best joke weapon in the series. I know. I missed Hades. I shouldn't have, but I did. I'll get around to it. It's in the Hollow Knight bucket, chat. I streamed Hollow Knight, what, like 8 years after it came out? We'll do the same with Hades. Not if. I'm going to get back into roguelikes on this channel. I told you, I'm committed to doing Star of Providence and maybe segueing from that into some other stuff. Maybe I'll segue into Hades. If y'all are into watching some Hades in the modern era. Can we just not play any Earthworm Jim anything? I want to try 2, okay? I know the Earthworm Jim guy is a shithead. I know they're not particularly good games. Let me just at least take a look at it, okay? Let's not make too big a deal out of this. I want to know at least what these games are before I shit all over them. All right, Mike Bruno from Marlton, New Jersey. I've got a great idea for a game based on a movie. It stars Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia. It's called Street Fighter. It's action-packed and... Wait a minute. Never mind. RPG is a sequel to the classic game Mario Paint. A sequel with many upgrades to the original options and many new activities such as color mixing, new animation choices, and possibly a few more different beats. There should have been a Mario Paint sequel. That would have been really cool. We got... Yeah. Exactly, Satellite. We got to skip Booger Man. Now we have to eat our Earthworm Jim. Yeah. But Zexion has been a fun Metroid like so far. Nice. Nice. Want to create a game from a great novel? I suggest the Dragonlance Saga by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman for a new RPG because of its twisted plot and great characters. This game would be a tough competitor with Square's Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy series. Yeah, I'm sure. Street Fighter, the movie, the game, the movie of the game, the video game. You know that exists, right? You know there is a Street Fighter, the movie, the game, right? Just want to make sure everybody's aware. I think it was a Dragonlance RPG and it sucked ass. That was another thing. There is a... I know we talked about this. There is a Wheel of Time FPS. And I want to stream it someday. I'm pretty sure it's on GOG. I need to remember to pick it up sometime. Because, yeah. A friend of mine in high school played through it and said it was actually pretty interesting. I've never gotten over there being a video game version of the Pokemon TCG. Okay. I think video game versions of TCGs, even if they're original, like even if the IP originated as a video game, I think they deserve a full pass. Cause like digital versions of TCGs just make it so much easier to manage your collections and get stuff and yada yada yada. Dragonlance is only cool for the people who are playing the campaign it's based on. So about 5 minutes of the Wheel of Time FPS. It looks weird. Yeah, I wanna give it a try. My friend spoke very highly of it. Y'all are so funny. I read more of Lord of the Rings than I did Wheel of Time because I got through 1.5 books of it. Read all the Wheel of Time and oh boy, that series was filler after a while. Wasn't very much into TCGs in any case, so that added its own level of what the fuck. No, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Pokemon, the card game, the video game. I got through half a book of Wheel of Time and just yelled fucking do something and closed the book. What, tugging on braids doesn't count as doing something? Do digital TCGs really provide the same experience? Can you really smell your... Oh god, ball of work, why? Oh god. Every time somebody says something like that, I get this visceral memory of like the wall of funk at Gen Con back in 2003, 2004, when I was playing Legend of the Five Rings. Usually I find it a ton easier to make decks when I can physically sort rearrange the cards. See, what I know of Magic, I know from Duels of the Planeswalkers on Xbox Live Arcade, and I really, really like that. It was really, really nice. I've had instances where I've like lost cards in my collection, like my Star Wars cards and my One Piece cards. There'll be cards that I know I have, but I have so many cards, like they just got like mis-sorted somewhere. Whereas like the digital version of a TCG, the ones that I've played at least, like Duels of the Planeswalkers and Hearthstone, have pretty good systems for finding stuff. A sick power play you can envision Yu-Gi-Oh! Can mostly pull off in the TCG video games. Tug braids, smooth skirt. Read the first Wheel of Time book and saw the exact same paragraph word for word a few pages apart. It's hard to take it seriously after that. Good evening, Trade-On. Good to see you. Lurk away, my friend. It's a good night for lurking. Deep Thought, thank you so much for the 5-stream streak. Happy Nintendo Power 1996. Yes, indeed. Really into the Belgariad with a neighbor. The Melorian. I have no idea what you're talking about. Hindsight, they were super cringy. I was dealing with ranked Magic players, got really pretty ranked during stuff, yeah. All right, games should be made going through the inside of a Super NES, NES, Virtual Boy, or Game Boy. Around every chip, you would face the biggest and slimiest villains from all the top games. On top of all that, it could be 3D. The goal of my dream game is to find the problem in the system just like a repair guy or gal would. On the way through the system, you can find wrenches and other tools. The hero is me, because I think that most Nintendo Power readers would love to be in a game. I was building with my Legos and thought you could make a Lego video game like Sim City. You pay small amounts of money to buy different sized bricks to build a hotel or a house. Huh. Robert Sharkey of Bonita Springs, Florida. Interesting thought. Aside from that, like, clearly Minecraft-inspired Lego outing, the Lego games tend more towards, like, lighter arcadey experiences. There haven't really been many Lego building sims. Yeah, right, Deep Thought? That's a good idea. Is there a non-cringy fantasy series? That's a big ask, man. That is a big ask. I feel like maybe that's the realm of Joe Abercrombie. I only read the first like 2 of his books in the, what is it, Wizard's First? Is that the Wizard's First Rules series, or am I getting Joe Abercrombie confused with somebody else? It's been years since I read them, but his weren't too bad. Chat, I apologize in advance if I'm just fucking up all the names of these things. Since Arcane isn't here, can I request to zoom in on the letter art? You absolutely may. Yes, let's do that. You absolutely may. And let me get the hell out of the way, too. So you enjoy it. On the letter art, I see... This is actually kind of great. Killer Instinct cart. Earthbound. Mega Man X fighting, like, strawberry guy. Wizard's First Rule is Terry Goodkind. My bad. Okay. Okay. My mistake. I forget what Joe Abercrombie's series is called then. Kirby's Nightmare is apparently getting vored by Yoshi. This one is... I can't tell. Looks like this man is on fire. That's Marl from Chrono Trigger. And that's Diddy Kong. Continuation of the flashback game. In my opinion, this is the best game for the Super NES. Oh my god. First Law, thank you. Okay. I feel better now. That explains why I confused those names. Author of the First Law and the Age of Madness trilogy. Yeah, I read like the first 2 books in the First Law series, I think. And they were very good. They were very, very good. I think the only reason I didn't keep going is my library didn't have the next ones in the series at the time. I've always thought an interesting game would be an alternate video game universe. The basic idea is to create a game in which characters from one game are trapped in another and they have to make their way back to the real video game world in which they belong. This person prophesized the Hex. Neural pathways have to be pretty close. Pretty sure the Belgari had launched a bunch of firsts. I think you should make a Super Punch-Out 2 with new challenges and more moves for the player and harder circuits. All right. Players Poll Contest winner. All right, so chat, we are currently on volume 80 of Nintendo Power, just so you know. This Players Poll Contest winner is from volume 69. Seth Montgomery of Topeka, Kansas, traveled to Orlando, Florida to be an extra on Sequest DSV. Oh, I wanted to hear about this one. I'm so excited. Courtesy of Nintendo Power and THQ, the super nice crew treated Seth like a star and even gave him his own dressing trailer. Decked out like an undersea farmer, Seth plucked oranges while series star Jonathan Brandis strolled by. The trip was perfect for Seth, a confirmed Sequest freak and aspiring actor. Seth listens to an assistant director. Because the scene was shot out of season, prop workers had to paint the green oranges the proper color. That's funny. That's pretty cool. It's always nice to hear one of these Players Poll contests actually work out, because I know more than a couple of them went pear-shaped. All right. Nah, put that back. Oh, what's up, Arcane? Good to see you. Got here from watching the new Knives Out movie. What's that about? Oh, we were talking about Joe Abercrombie. People were asking if there are any fantasy book series that aren't super cringy, and I brought up Joe Abercrombie because the few of his novels that I've read didn't seem cringy at all. Only watched the show for the hyper-intelligent dolphin. Alrighty. Welcome to the new and improved power charts, chat. Looks like... Alright. They have condensed the power charts and actually given us a third page of letters. Seems like these might be kind of off topic. I'd like to know if you'll publish a player's guide for the hit RPG Chrono Trigger. I think it would really help players get through this massive game. I look forward to buying Chrono Trigger when it makes its way to video game stores, although I'm not exactly an RPG fanatic. The characters designed by Mr. Akira Toriyama look very cool. Also, the game's graphics are really impressive. Visit a friend playing a Japanese version of Chrono Trigger, where I saw his detailed backgrounds in the character graphics, not the block backgrounds and pixel-like characters in traditional RPGs. I love the battle scenes. Not that I love violence, but the weapon tech attacks, especially Chrono Cycling attack, look just superb. Sum it up, I would say that I want Chrono Trigger. Your wishes are command. The new Chrono Trigger Player's Guide is hot off the presses. You can pick one up at most stores that carry Nintendo products. Order directly using the coupon on the back of the store. I hate to break it to you, but you don't need a Super FX chip icon in your head-to-head table and now playing. The fact is, Super FX games just aren't common enough to merit their own icon. Shots fired, chat. It's kind of like making an icon for games with Mario in them. I think it's safe to assume if you make a game completely out of polygons, people are going to know it's an FX chip game. I'm kind of surprised they published this one. Intriguing point, Gavin, but did you know that creative game designers put the Super FX chip to other uses? For example, in Yoshi's Island, the Super FX chip allowed Mr. Miyamoto and his team to make the huge bosses and morphmation effects. Ah, okay. They published this one so they could own the writer. All right, Editor's Corner. Notice some changes in Players Pulse this month. Starting with this issue, we're boosting the number of pages dedicated to your letters and art from 2 to 3. All the credit for this improvement goes to our readers. So many of you wrote in asking for bigger Players Pulse, so we said, what a brilliant idea. They're especially happy to be able to print more of your artwork. There's no doubt in our minds that Nintendo Power readers are an incredibly talented and creative bunch. We also decided to put power charts right in the middle of Players Pulse because our readers are heard loud and clear in both sections. You make your voice heard by writing in Players Pulse and by voting in the Players Poll at the back of every issue. Silly Oddish, know you not how editorial replies to user letters work? I guess not. Austerity measures from the failure of the Virtual Boy is hitting us hard, so we're padding the issue with more of your letters. Thanks for letting us use you to outsource our word count. Okay, so the power charts. So still got the Super NES top 20, the Game Boy top 10, the Virtual Boy top 5. I'm sorry, it's so funny. They've still got the most wanted, and then I guess where it says Japan's top 5, that might be their floating random chart each month. We'll have to see. But yeah, they've condensed it all down. Did the Virtual Boy have 5 titles? Well, we got Wario Land, Galactic Pinball, Golf, Mario's Tennis, and Red Alarm. Mario Clash didn't even make the cut, chat. All right, Super NES Top 20. Killer Instinct is the best. It is the greatest. It is number 1. Followed by Chrono Trigger, Donkey Kong Country 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. And then Link to the Past, which has been on the chart for 4 years. Damn, dude. Donkey Kong Country, Super Metroid, Final Fantasy 3, what we now know as Final Fantasy 6. Secret of Evermore, Earthworm Jim 2, WrestleMania, Doom, Super Mario Kart, NHL 96, Ken Griffey, Mortal Kombat 2, Civilization, Earthbound, and Mega Man X3 already. What up, Hamster Hammer? I worked at Nintendo as a gameplay counselor back in 1989 to 1990. I still have a couple of my 3-ring binders with customer service info and... Oh my god! That's awesome! Holy shit! I don't think we've had anybody in here before who's actually worked like at or adjacent to Nintendo Power. That's so cool. How did you, I mean, God, I have a million questions. Like, how did you like it? How was it? What was the office like? What was the environment like? I'm sorry, dude. I have been doing the Power Hours for what, like 4 years now? Like, this is so exciting. I've spent such a significant chunk of my life at this point reliving like the glory days of Nintendo Power, and here's somebody who actually worked there. Holy shit. Yeah, literally the same stream where somebody else asked, has anyone from Nintendo Power ever been here? It was a blast, really? I bet it was. It really, you know, I didn't get into the games industry until like the 2010s. So in my mind, like, you know, the 90s era, late 80s to the 90s, I just envisioned it as like a golden era of people like having dream jobs working on and around these games. This is telling 300 kids a day why they can't pick up the good sword in the original Zelda. 4 years, sure, not underestimating that. I can double check. I can double check. I got it pinned. No, I didn't mean to stop the music. No. I started the Power Hours on June 6, 2021. So this June, it'll be 5 years. 4.5 years. I've been doing the Power Hours for 4.5 years. Damn. I did a video a couple years ago on my YouTube channel where I go over my binders and such. It's a bit dry, but I get to the games about an hour in. Oh, dude. Hamster, could I get you to put a link to that in chat right now? Yeah, please link your channel. Oh, linked in your profile? Okay. Yeah, we are... Hamster, you have made our night. Like, seriously. You have no idea how exciting this is for me and everyone else. Like, to get even the slightest bit of an inside track on this stuff that we've been poring over and commentating on for years and years and years. Like, oh, this is amazing. This is this is like lost media hype right here. It really is, though. It really, really is. I mean, oh damn. Okay, yeah, I'm bookmarking this. I am bookmarking this. Awesome. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you. You got a new subscriber. At least one. Oh man, that's so cool. Because, I mean, okay. You look over here. You look at the list of contributors here, like editors, producers, writers, and such. I mean, this was not a huge operation, you know? This was people on the inside of Nintendo Power. You know, I'm sure there were plenty of people in and out over the many years that Nintendo Power is in operation, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of people, you know? It's a select group. So I mean, we're extremely fortunate to have someone here tonight who is actually a part of this. Glad to see folks are still loving on it. Nintendo has a special place in my heart. I mean, I hear that. This was my childhood. The whole reason I do the Power Hours, the whole reason I go through these magazines is this was my childhood. You know, we got, oh man, I don't remember how old I was, like I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. And we got like one of the free like promo issues of Nintendo Power. I think it was a pared down copy of issue 9, the DuckTales cover issue in the mail, and I was just obsessed with it. I don't still have that. I think I probably like read it to pieces or something, but that is really what got me into video games. I begged my parents for a Nintendo Power subscription and an NES after that. And from that point on, every month kind of hinged on me getting a new issue of Nintendo Power. And I would bring it inside and I'd flop on the floor and I'd just go page by page, like drinking in every little bit of it, every screenshot, every note, every tip, everything. And it taught me, like, I learned so much about the gaming landscape, so many games that I had to have, so many games that I was curious about but never got around to until now. It was just a huge formative part of my life. It's impossible for this chat room to display how much everyone here is scrambling and screaming IRL. Yeah, basically, this expanded across the world insofar as my audience is scattered. They had to make room for Nestor's hair, yeah. I was in college and getting ready for my brother's upcoming wedding when this issue was released. Really? Wow. Bought my first NES back in December 1988. Still have my gold Legend of Zelda card. They still work. The battery is probably toast. I don't know if yours is anything like mine, it should still be fine. These things have a longer shelf life than you might think. I want to give it a try sometime. My original Nintendo, it barely works. I haven't booted it up in a while. Well, this is the perfect excuse if you ask me. My original Nintendo, the pin connectors are super loose, so it's hard to get stuff going on that. I have a boutique system that I use now, it's called an AVS. Has like 4 controller ports and HDMI out and a bunch of really nice, and it plays Famicom games in addition to NES games. So I run everything through that now. But yeah, all my cartridges are still good, at least. When I did OG Final Fantasy, I did that off the original cartridge, and the battery back memory still worked just fine on that. So hopefully yours have held up at least as well. Do you know there's a team dedicated to busting through new and really unfair games back in the day when they were released? Was building a guide a team or group effort when difficult games considered normal back then? Say that back in the 80s, video games didn't have win conditions. They just kept getting hard until you lost. That really was kind of the design concept of the time, wasn't it? Very arcadey approach. Only Nintendo thing I've ever owned was an OG brick Game Boy, and even I'm interested in watching this. Looks really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, if a game could convince you to drop another quarter in, and yeah, for coin op stuff, that was absolutely the order of the day. You know, they wanted to keep you at that machine as long as possible. Drunk interesting 2 times a bit much. Even editors have trouble with redundancy sometimes, so don't take it too hard. So, all right, not to distract from our new best friend or anything, but I will. I'll keep going through the charts and on, so we can make at least a little progress in the magazine tonight. On the Game Boy top 10, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening somehow managed to bet. Wait a minute. Oh, that's weird. No. It is Donkey Kong Land. I just forgot what it's called. So yeah, Link's Awakening actually managed to best Donkey Kong Land for a 2nd month in a row. Game Boy Killer Instinct is in 3rd place. Wouldn't have been my choice. Mortal Kombat 3, Wario Land, Metroid 2, Mario Land 2, Defender Joust in 8th place for some fucking reason. NBA Jam Tournament Edition and Kirby's Dream Land 2. We had counselors who would specialize in games that came out. They could go over a list of games and the people on the team that were experts. That's a good way to do it. And I mean, it makes sense. You want at least one person on the team to have like in-depth knowledge of each title that at least people are gonna be calling in frequently on, yeah. This game on the original Atari system was a prisoner dropping bombs off the prison wall, and you kept trying, and you trying to catch them in a water bucket. It kept getting faster and faster, and you literally could not keep up. I mean, Tetris pretty famously does that, right? Tetris, the drop speed speeds up until theoretically people are no longer able to manage the blocks, except like total Tetris speedrunning freaks figured out how to keep it going. And opened up a whole new world of like kill screens to push their way past. That's Kaboom? Okay. I was always curious how people would figure things out, since a lot of NES games seem inscrutable. I grew up with the internet and I have no idea how some games were completed before that. That's a really good point. That is absolutely a very good point, Arcane. Because yeah, before the internet, before you could, well, you know, before GameFAQs, really. If you couldn't figure out how to do something, it was either tip line, tip book if the game was big enough to rate one, or ask your friends. The most wanted this month, obviously number 1 is the Nintendo Ultra 64, the final and most important game system to ever be released. Followed by Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat 3, Cruis'n USA, Super Mario RPG, that's right, that's not out yet. Doom, the Virtual Boy, they know not what they ask for, chat. Forgive them their sins. Mortal Kombat 3, Diddy Kong Country 2, and WrestleMania. Oh, WrestleMania making a strong, deserved showing. I do want to remind you all of that. WWF WrestleMania Arcade was something of an unexpected gem. Are you guys buffering? Is something going on? Uh-oh. Well, hang in there, folks. I'm sure it's just Twitch being Twitch again. Mom kept calling it Kablooey, and I knew that wasn't the name. It was all I could remember. Kablooey is a great name, frankly. And then their specialty chart this month is Japan's top 5. Secret of Mana 3, what we now know as Trials of Mana. Yoshi's Island, World Soccer 2, Mario's Super Picross. Oh Lord, chat, there's a Super Picross and I want it. I still play Picross on my phone. And Super Robot World. I've reached a point with Picross where, like, it's all just like subconscious now. It's all just like going through the motions. I don't really get stuck on any puzzles anymore. It just happens. It just flows. We used to buy game guides, photocopy them, spread them around the schoolyard. I think I still have a Wing Commander strategy guide lying around. I used to have a Zach McCracken guide. Oh, cool. You've been buffering all night? Okay. I think Twitch is just being Twitch right now. People have been mentioning buffering for the last... I feel like people have been mentioning buffering around here for like the last couple weeks or so. And things are pretty clean on my end, so... I don't know, folks. Think you got the rum. Super Picross. Oh my. Okay. All right, real quick chat before I honor this. Let me make sure I've got it actually. Before I make promises I can't keep. Let me make sure I got this one, and then I'm gonna go mix myself another drink to celebrate. I assume it's gonna be under super. Oh, Mario's Super Picross. Mario, no Super Picross. Okay, I got it, chat. I got it. All right. Sit tight for a second. Enjoy the player's pulse vibes. I'm gonna mix myself another drink. I will be right back. Alrighty, folks. Now that I have more drink, I should be perfectly ready to do an intellectual puzzle game. What's eating Josh's internet this time? Chair owns the stream now. Stracer's the bartender. Chair, how do you like Oddish getting along well? What do you mean he's an ass? That's all you've ever seen of him. All right, gang. Let's. Oh, here. Change that. Let's see here. Oh, nope, not that. That. Wow, that song's from Arcana. I don't remember that song at all. This is Picross! Whoa, it is loud, Picross. Sweet Jesus. Why are Nintendo's Picross games so intense? I don't understand. All right, ooh, I get a save file. Select a data. So it's tutorial. What is this? Squirrels, literally. Oh, chat. Yeah, it's a tutorial. Damn it. Sorry, I'm skipping the. I can't do another tutorial. I can't. I can't do a Picross tutorial now. Select a problem. Oh, game, I got plenty. Hint? No. Aha! Picross is great, but the music in Picross games varies wildly. That's why I play on my phone now. It doesn't have any music. What is it? Blood spatter! No, seriously, what is it? Video game, what is it? Oh, Ma. We're gonna spell Mario. Mario. Who's that Pokemon? It's Pikachu! Do. Looks like hiragana. No, it's katakana. That Ma was katakana. It's Clefairy. What's your problem? Jumpumanu. I wish it would stop making me say, like, no, God damn it. I wish it would stop making me say, I don't want a hint. I don't want a hint. Yeah, it's katakana. Oh. Jackal! Jackal! Is it Jackal? Is it Jackal? Is it Jackal? Is it Jackal? No, idiot. It's not a schooner. It's a sailboat. Doop 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 doop. Do 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 ba do do ba do ba do do do. Mario's zoomed in face and the background is ominous. I miss it when it was Mario things. Just Mario things. No. That's hiragana no. Is it gonna be Sue? Or something else? My Nobaka. Tutorial, I think I do good with an adult coloring book. I might get the battle type. Oh, that sounds like fun. I think adult coloring books are great ideas. They like, it sounds like very, very therapeutic to me. Guess that one's done. Don't lie, we all enjoyed tweaking Mario's nose on the title screen of Mario 64. Hell yes, we did. That was a singular pleasure. Pretty sure that goes there. Pretty sure that goes there. Dude. Actually, those are all done. That's done. Got it. Pete. Pete. Without the little circle, it'd be B. The circle turns it into a P sound. Oh, this one better than the Game Boy one since the audio here is way less shrill. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Much easier to adjust to. Do. Ah, no, I screwed it. I did a dumb. Do. Who among us hasn't transformed a monster into a horrible monster there? I really like this music too. It's jazzy and fun. I don't trust myself with needs. I barely trust myself with my hobby knife. The animations for this game are really cute too. There we go. Now to a 13-disc puzzle in my Tower of Hanoi. Oh, God. Tower of Hanoi, really? Cool. sounds annoying. Ah! Nothing. This is actually a 9 by... No, this is an 8 by 8 puzzle. Yeah, the audio design for this one's really nice, honestly. Oh, that was it. Pikudo? I think it's ro. Yeah, because we're still basically in the tutorial phase. We're spelling Mario no Picross. Still only 3 posts to move the pins between. Pins. Dude, Bob Ross is all happy trees and mountains. Gotta say the soundscape is way more tolerable here than the game. Yes, very much so. Very much so. I very much agree. I mean, it better. It's a Super NES game. It better sound good. Oh, whoops. I beefed it. 3 post Tower of Hanoi is easy regardless how many discs. Odd number start in the target post, even number discs start in the middle one. Ah, I see what you're saying. See what you're saying. Okay. There we go. Suit. You see this one a lot. All right. Sorry, I'm gonna finish level 1. So 4 more puzzles, and then we can move on. I love Picross chat. Jesus Christ. And honestly, it's been a long time since I did any really easy puzzles, because all the stuff that I do now is like super hard. So this is honestly really, really nice. Is that the Big Dipper? Picross is honest as vampiric weakness. He's obligated to complete while you run away. No, it's true. Hokutoshi. I just forget that's Chi or Sa. Say. Chi, thank you. Say? Really need to brush back up on my hiragana. I learned it once and lost it all with disuse. Yeah, I mean, it's handy. You can pick out a lot of stuff with it. Big TVs are not a big deal now. First time I played, a bunch of us in training were at a veteran gameplay counselor's house, and he has NES hooked up to his projection TV on a huge white wall. Oh man, I bet that was an experience. I never got to play old school Nintendo on a projection TV. I always wanted to, though. That would have been some. This one's done. And that just... Ah, no, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. Video game, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I think we're making a boat. I'm pretty sure this is a boat. Yeah, it's a boat. 4K NES, like you can see every pixel. Projection TV is still a big deal to me. This is gaming with power. Hokake? Hokake bure? Bure? That Japanese character looks just like a boat. Funny that. Bune, thank you. Nay. Nay, yeah. Do. Do. Hey! Folks took it very seriously. Our training instructor wanted us to focus on our terminology to little kids, the bread and butter back then. I mean, I was definitely one of them. I called the Nintendo Power Hotline a couple times. I mean, I've told this story before. Like, I learned my left from my right by calling a Nintendo Power counselor. Because I didn't know my left and my right, and I need to find something in The Legend of Zelda. So I called, and they told me from the start to go left. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And they were like, okay, do you see the Lost Woods? I was like, yes, that's left. Do you see the Rocky Coast? Yes, that's right. To this day, even now, when I hear the word left or right, the first thing that flashes in my mind is the map of the original Legend of Zelda. And I'm like, okay, is it Lost Woods or Rocky Coast? But I remember I called about that, and I remember I called a couple times for Final Fantasy Legend. Because that game was hard and weird. Left, losty, righty rocks. Losty, left, righty rocks. How about that? The funniest part is I don't even remember it for the mimetic device. I am completely a visual learner. I have that image of the Legend of Zelda map in my brain. Like, it pops in there every single time. Actually making an NES Legend of Zelda style game. I want to release a demo by the end. Oh my god, dude, let us know when you do that. I would love to check it out. Absolutely love to check that out. Oh, snap indeed. Oh, that's a 2. So that's gonna be there. Which means that can't be anything. Luigi gets left because Mario's right. Definitely nobody on stream would want to play that. Perish the thought. Gotta go there. That's like that. Those are done. See, VODs my work on. I stream 5 days a week or so. Okay, definitely gonna check that out. Definitely gonna check that out. Thank you for mentioning. Ah, nuts. Oh, cause I know. I'm not guessing, chat. I swear to God. I just got distracted. That's all. Happens to the best of us. Ah! I'm not losing the idiot baby Picross. It's the Starbucks lady. It also happens to the worst of us. No. Ningyo? Ningyo, thank you. It's okay, we know you're from, yeah, person fish. It's Mario! My hero! Congratulations! Wait, Mario doesn't speak Japanese, he's Italian. This is all very suspicious. Not my Mario. Oh my God, it's Wario! What the hell? Gahaha! Furio? No. No, Mario no Picross. Yokuso. Wario's Picross. Sorry, Wario. Wario no Picross. Wario's been around this long. I mean, this is post Mario Land 3. Like Super Mario Land 3 Wario Land came out before this game. So, yeah, he's been around. I think Mario and Wario came out before this. Thanks for reminding me the Goonies 2 game has a half-naked preteen mermaid girl's reward for being a game. Yikes! First time Wario is in color in a game. No, I don't believe so. Oh. Oh. I'm sorry, chat. This requires slightly more research. I need to know what Wario no Picross is. What the hell? What? Mujinto? What is Mujinto? Is that Firefly? Or is this gonna have you solve Picross on his ass for 20 levels straight? It's Picross but evil. Where is the true puzzle shot? Deserted Island? Okay. Let's see a game that's nothing but troll Picross. I'm so curious now. No. It's a foot! Ashi no... Ura? Ashi no Ura? Wario no foot. Ooh, the jacked up little toe. What's this? Coccyx. Maybe when we get to Wario's ass. Picross just reminds me of the Pokemon Gen 4 remake. I had more fun doing the digging mini game that looks like Picross in the main game. Bish! I think it's a butt plug. Bakudan. It's a bomb. Okay, one more. Yeah, but you think everything's a butt plug. You're not wrong. And I do think I was on to something there, okay? Animated pics are nice. In Aja's defense, right? It had a flared base. For your safety. Everything a butt plug if you're brave enough. If you ever decide to make ice cream, do not put the ice cream maker next to the stove where someone else is making chicken noodle soup from scratch. Oh no. Oh, that's just heartbreaking. This music is really nice. The Wario side music, I think, is actually better. Tomorrow's the sale. 2 things of Talenti or Ben and Jerry's for like $6. Nice. Is that a monkey? It's a fucked up little guy. Kozadu? Is that right? Chip, he's got a gun. Is that a monkey? He's got a gun. Kiki from Link's Awakening. Hit monkey. Okay. All right. I got it. Okay. All right. I've done it. This is Kozaru Saru's monkey. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Should have given that monkey a diaper to see everything. All right, chat. Well, that was a hell of a lot of fun. Thank you. Thank you, chat. Thank you for putting the Picross in front of me. Because, oh boy. Oh boy, do I go wild for some Picross. Magnum ice cream bar still a thing? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Cheat it now, put it in a freezer safe container, and every 30-ish minutes go and stir it up. All right. Anyway, moving on to Groovy. Speaking of monkeys, Shatora's commander got hit with a card called Pongify, which destroys your creature and makes a monkey token. We have the tokens you can draw and write on and make her a Harambe. Funny. Oddish's ideal game is a Picross shmup. My perfect game might actually be Picross RPG or like Picross City Builder somehow. Trouble is, that game show up again? Probably not, unfortunately. Unless they do that Japan's top 5 every month and Mario's Picross stays in it. Yeah, that might unfortunately be our only look at that one. Took and saw the art and name, was like, no! The Intrepid Invertebrate is back and squirmier than ever in Shiny's 10-stage sequel of 1994's smash hit. Wow, we're 2 years out from Earthworm Jim 1. SNS request line? Yeah. Tell us your Picross-based battle system. That's a tough question. Because you want, like, you really want to preserve, like, the puzzle integrity of Picross, you know? I would really have to think about that. I mean, it's an easy enough thing to take something else and just be like, you know, put a timer on it. Or like, just have the thing like if you're doing a city builder and you want to build a house, have like a house puzzle or something. Have a puzzle that like makes a house. That's the easy way. Maybe that's why we don't have more like Picross crossovers with other things. Is like how do you work like the Picross puzzle mechanics into something like an RPG battle system? Picross RPG Builder somehow gives you collectible Star Wars character loot boxes. What if Picross the magic system? Make the RE4 attaché case into a combat system. You can make Picross combat. You're right, you can. It's just I can't figure it out off the top of my head midstream. Might be something akin to Into the Breach where you have to calculate damage and apply it to positions on the grid. That's a thought. That's a thought. A while back, I thought it'd be pretty cool to try making like a Picross horror game, where there's like the puzzles get like sinister and confusing, and you you reach a point where like you can't actually trust the numbers along the borders. Peter Puppy is probably one of gaming's best background characters. He's a solid one. Yeah. Especially if you saw the TV show. TV show gave him a fair bit of texture. Picross of the Dead. Shiny kept the terrific features of Earthworm Jim 1 in this much anticipated sequel. The richly detailed backgrounds, buttery smooth animations, best in them all, demented humor are back. Earthworm Jim 1 fans will recall in the aid of his super spacesuit, Jim rescued the gorgeous Princess What's-Her-Name from the clutches of that intergalactic bounty hunter Psychro. This go-around, Jim has successfully wooed and won the fair maiden. This puts Jim next in line to be monarch of the galaxy, not to mention mayor of Carmel, California. Seeking the throne for himself, Psychro nabs a princess and runs off to the Las Vegas system for a quick, non-consenting wedding. Jim must pursue the beastly bird and his gorgeous captive through some of the weirdest planets in the video game universe. Picross Puyo Puyo. Lots of words, not one about her. Earthworm Jim 2 plays for reasons. I'm imagining a Picross that adds complex rules and side cases like the witnesses you solve. It would be... Oh. Could you make a witness-style Picross game where the Picross puzzles are environmental? I feel like that would be a huge challenge to figure out how to communicate the numbers, like the number sequences, without being really obvious about it. Because I'm sorry, the witness, like, the line puzzles are fine, but it's the environmental puzzles that really make that game what it is, that really make it notable. Like, I'm sure you could do like color-based or shape-based or like permutations of Picross puzzles, but finding ways to work them into the environment, I think, is the real challenge. Was it this one or the first one, the underwater orb shit? It was the first one, yeah. Don't remember Professor Monkey for Head came back in this one. Well, let's skip ahead and see. Tangerines. Fans will recall Bob the goldfish with the personality of a piranha with his hulking henge cat. Number 4, Bob likes the summer on this planet filled with homicidal octopi and plump pigs. Gun up. Lorenzo's soil. I think it's supposed to be a play on Lorenzo's oil. This is an excavation level. Puppy love, Villy people. Pursuit of justice takes Jim to the living intestinal planet where he goes undercover as Sally, the blind cave salamander. What? Why? Evil the cat is still my favorite design. Evil was solid, yeah. The Flying King. Utterly abducted. Let's see. I don't see any mention of Professor Monkey for a head. Picross could work like you have to race the AI or another player as a combat system. Yeah. Sally the blind cave salamander is how I name my blood. You name your butt plugs? All right, brace yourselves, chat. We are going to play some Earthworm Jim 2. Because I have to know. I've played too much Earthworm Jim 1 in my life to not know anything about 2. And that is simply that. Using boards with holes in them, have to align the boards vertically and horizontally so all the holes light up. Light through the holes creates the image. That's a good one. I like that. I give names to everything I love and adore. Aw, that's almost sweet. Yeah, all right. That's a Super Ghouls and Ghosts song. I think the Salamander stage is in the Simon Says stage. The animation in these games is really quite good. It's got to be more fun to play than the first, right? It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Anything but tangerines. Okay, sorry, this is a bit loud, isn't it? What's up, Zem? You know you don't, you're right, I don't have to play this. I want to play this. I'd also want to know where the hell I go from here. Oh no, you just keep going. Earthworm gym stages have the weirdest designs.
Way cool.
Like, it is so hard to parse where you can and should go in these things. Happy Oinkers. Okay.
Wow.
Blink twice in the camera if you need help. Pig shoot. Use the pig. What does that mean? What pig? Do I need to go back for a pig? Press down. Okay, I got a piggy. Okay, whatever, man. I don't know why I did that, but whatever.
Whoopee! Wow! Wow!
Bonus. I have a weakness for Dada's random humor. Sometimes there's a lot to take. Yeah, the big thing with Earthworm Jim is I've never really been a fan of its humor. I feel like the TV show did it a lot better than the games did, frankly. For Christ's sake, man. Another one of the joke weapons, bubbles do absolute squat. Okay, good to know. Ah, shit. God damn it. I'm losing life every time I do this, too.
Groovy.
Oh my god! Congratulations, you played yourself.
Funky. Wait, whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That looks like an electric chair over there.
Hey, cool. Whoopee. Way cool.
It is apparently. Cool. Nice. Oh, it's a grappling hook. Okay. Okay. Heavy pigs. Okay. There's no other humor. Seems like a pretty good joke to me. Fight! Okay.
Well done.
Okay. Lorenzen's soil. Okay.
Groovy.
Wow, terrain destruction, chat. Super ahead of its time. Also, it looks like shit. I'll give him credit for the effort, but yeah. Like they tried they tried to do something a bit ahead of the time here with destructible terrain, but it doesn't work very well, frankly.
Wow.
I'm sorry, was I killing babies there? Timu Noita. Why'd I do that?
Tender.
Tender? You're killing babies because that is very wacky. Alright, I'm gonna... Alright.
Wow.
Frankly, chat, I gotta say, so far, I like this better than the original. That's not exactly high praise. I don't like the original, and I don't particularly like this. But if you put a gun to my head and said I had to play one of the Earthworm Jim games at this point, I'd probably pick 2.
Whoa! Whoa!
I mean, it took me quite a while to figure out how to get through the junkyard in the original Earthworm Jim. Whereas I got through that first level in this on the first try. This is definitely better than Hell. Hell is an absolutely awful level in the first Earthworm Jim. This is at least unique. I can give it some credit for that. It's not super fun, but it is unique. Put that on the back of the box. Earthworm Jim 2, it's better than Hell.
Whoa!
I mean, Hell in Earthworm Jim 1 sucks pretty bad. As interesting as it is visually, it is an awful level to try and get through. Man, they tried here. They definitely tried. Also, I'm gonna run out of time. Unless this up here is where I'm supposed to go. I'd love to see how Nintendo Power map this. We'll take a look when I get out of here. Ow, this is starting to hurt my thumbs. Never thought I'd say that. But rolling my thumb on the D-pad to like blast these walls kind of hurts. Oh, there's a continue spot up there. If I could only reach that. Oh, and time.
Groovy! Funky!
I don't know how you're supposed to get past those gas things. Okay, I've had enough of this. I've had enough. I will say better than Earthworm Jim 1. At least based on the first 2 levels. And that's saying something. There we go. All right, so they mapped it like so. I agree with the person before who said the gym should have a freebie for Earth Destruction as a worm. Earthworm Jim 2, I've had enough. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Earthworm Jim is just not my thing. It never has been, it never will. I don't think there's any amount of 90s nostalgia that could bring me back to Earthworm Jim. It's just it's an aesthetic, it's a style that I just was never down with. The TV show pulled it back to a much more reasonable place and was honestly really fun for it. But yeah, the game, not my thing. Not my thing. Purple monkey dishwasher kind of humor. All right. All right. We're going to read through this with the understanding that I can't actually try any of these games at this time because my system is not quite ready to go yet. And it's my own fault too. I haven't gotten myself a controller to use with it yet, but yeah. I dig the aesthetics and animation. The humor is fine. It just sucks as a game. Yeah. I mean, even if you are into the style of it and the humor, it's not a great platformer. And that first level is a really good example of why. It's too messy visually. You know, like, you certainly want to be creative and unique with your platformer's look and feel, but not to the literal detriment of gameplay. And Earthworm Jim does not understand that. Earthworm Jim has the most visually confusing, inscrutable levels ever because they are in service of the art style and not the gameplay. So. This sounds really familiar. Oh, and that's why. Like a supernova exploding in your face. Yes, audience, this person promises instant death. Are you excited for triangles? I've heard about the light at the end of the tunnel. The debut of the Nintendo 64 in Japan appeared more like a supernova exploding in your face. Everything we wanted, everything we hoped to find, everything we dreamed about in the ultimate video game system was there at Shoshinkai, Space World, and so were we. Now it's your turn. Join us for the first in-depth look at the future of video games with photos, reviews, interviews, and more news direct from Japan. It doesn't get any better than this. Yes, a giant wall of text about a game system you cannot play for another full year. Everything I dreamed of. I'm gonna skim this. I don't think anybody is jonesing for me to read through this word by word. So Shoshinkai happened over Thanksgiving weekend. First playable game tentatively called Super Mario 64. 13 games were demonstrated at the show. We have exclusive information on the Nintendo 64 disk drive, plus a rundown of the best Super Famicom, Virtual Boy, and Game Boy titles. A little background, Shoshinkai is an annual exhibition sponsored by the distributors of Nintendo products in Japan. It's similar to a CES or E3 here in the US. The show is always limited to Nintendo products. Quick aside, does Nintendo still do Shoshinkai? I could look it up, but I'd rather outsource this information to chat. Certainly never get excited over games I can't play for a year. Checks crowdfunding project updates. Touche, cute T-goat. Touche. Shows attended by distributors, developers, third-party publishers, and press from around the world. It's a one-day event. Giant convention hall in Makuhari. Here in one dense paragraph, you'll find all the essential sound bites you'll need to impress your friends and dismay Sega and Sony owners. Prepare to get owned. About Nintendo 64 and Shoshinkai. Bite 1! Mr. Yamauchi, president of Nintendo Company Ltd., announced in his speech that the Nintendo 64 released in Japan on April 21st at a price of 25,000 yen. Bite 2. Howard Lincoln, chairman of NOA, confirmed the NU64 would sell for under $250 when it was released in the US. 13 games were demonstrated at the show. Highlights. Oh. Okay, I gotta read this whole thing then. 13 games were demonstrated at the show, including 2 playable demos. Highlights of 11 of the games appeared only on looping videotapes. But even those sneak peeks held some wondrous images. 2 playable games, chat, for a system releasing in April. Memory card for the controller was revealed. Using the memory card, you can save a game progress and continue to play on any Nintendo 64. Ooh, that's definitely what everybody wanted. Memory chat. Quick aside. Memory cards were low-key one of the biggest scams in gaming. Like, look, you can save your data and take it to a friend's house. And it only costs you like 20 bucks to do it. But what if I don't want to? Fuck you, you'll do it anyway. This is the one mainstream Nintendo console I never owned. This one actually put me off of Nintendo games for a while. Nintendo 64 has the ignoble distinction of being the system that got me away from Nintendo and onto PC gaming. I think it was going to happen anyway. I was much more into like Dark Forces and X-Wing. I mean, that was really the thing. All the really cool ass Star Wars games at the time were on PC, and Shadows of the Empire. Shadows of the Empire is a neat game, but it doesn't really cut it in the face of these more detailed experiences. But yeah, I was totally a Nintendo kid. I was totally a shameless console warrior. I admit it. I had the NES, I had the Game Boy, I had the SNES. I dodged the Virtual Boy, thank goodness. But yeah, the Nintendo 64 never did it for me. It's the only system I didn't keep. I ended up giving it away to a friend back in college. And yeah, I did not come back to Nintendo systems until the GBA SP. Genius is a Nintendo invented disk drive. PlayStation had the excuse of literally not having storage on the game itself. N64 did not. Very true. Yeah, very true. I mean, yeah. You can make the argument that the move to CD media necessitated the existence of memory cards. I would argue just build the flash media into the system itself and eat the price. But no, we're gonna pass that on to the consumer, like any good capitalist corporation. Never found proprietary memory devices egregious until the Vita. Oh yeah, the Vita had like a memory stick, right? For some reason. Trade my SNES and all my games for an IBM PC compatible. It was a bad trade. I mean, I'm sure at the time it felt like a good one though. Like 90s PC gaming was a pretty big deal in and of itself. Like there were some seriously momentous games on PC that I came to PC gaming late. I didn't get into PC game. So, okay. Quick background for anyone unfamiliar. When I was born, my father already had a Commodore 64. Technically, my first gaming system was a Commodore 64. And I grew up with Moon Patrol and Centipede, and also Airborne Ranger and Echelon. So I had a pretty eclectic gaming upbringing until I got my NES. And then once I had the NES, I was a Nintendo kid. Like I said, until the N64. The big thing when I had an N64, that's also when we got a Pentium system. And I was able to jump into Dark Forces and Jedi Knight and X-Wing and TIE Fighter and Diablo and Warcraft 2 and StarCraft and all of that stuff. And that dragged me away from console gaming for a good long while. But there is a period, the late 80s, early 90s, when a lot of PC gaming was getting like well established, and a lot of the classics were floating around. I was still on Nintendo systems, so. I look at chat and the first thing I see is, can I buy a JPEG of a spaceship for the price of a car? And my instinct is to immediately reach for the ban button. I guess they possibly didn't want to tie the save to the console itself if they died or something. No, they wanted people to buy memory cards. They wanted people to buy more proprietary hardware. That's all it is. I'm sorry. I cannot, in good faith, accept any, like, value add argument for memory cards. First party manufacturers realized that they could squeeze more money out of people if they offered memory cards as this, like, quantum leap forward in convenience technology, and it's bullshit. They wanted people to pay for the privilege of saving their fucking games. Because that's what you do in a capitalist hell society. I still have my shareware disc for the original Doom. I have my original Quake 1 shareware CD that I cracked to play the full game on originally. At this point, how is Chris Roberts not in jail? Because again, in a capitalist hell society, it's not actually illegal to fleece people out of their money. Glad we don't deal with that anymore. Instead, they charge us $100 for the controller. Yeah. Or like 20 bucks a month for the privilege of having your system connect to the internet. Charging for online is... I would say charging for online is probably a bigger scam than even memory cards. Though I'll give Nintendo a tiny bit of credit because they, in the grand scheme of things, they charge very little for their online service and they add a lot of value to it. So, but yeah, having to pay like 10 bucks a month just to play Xbox games online, that was bullshit. That infuriated me. I actually miss memory cards, names for things like Smash or Tony Hawk or Kirby Air Ride, where you could actually bring a fully unlocked copy of a game over your friend's place really easily and give them special levels you made and stuff. Nowadays, you want to do that, you need to bring the entire system. Pretty the memory cards were so if you broke your CD, you wouldn't have to start the game from scratch. I mean, if you actually stored your saves on CDs. Good thing those controllers don't inevitably start to decay from normal use. I mean, yeah, that's the other thing. Shit's just not built to last anymore. I'm still using my original NES and SNES controllers, and yeah, some of these, like this one, the start button is pretty squishy, but like, this controller has lasted over 30 years. Whereas I have a box of like Xbox 360 controllers full of like sticky buttons that stopped working after like 3 or 4 years. I'm mad I have to pay for Nintendo Online and in Minecraft Realms to play Switch with your nieces. No, I get that. I get that. Subscription services have absolutely turned into a plague. I blame MMOs, personally. I blame the explosive success of early MMOs for revealing to the world how easy it is to convince people to sign away 10 or 20 bucks a month for some service that they will inevitably forget they're signed up for. And companies of all walks and industries finding ways to get people to subscribe to shit. I see that official Nintendo Power decal on that controller. You certainly do. You certainly do. I mean, it's mostly scratched out now, but this was the Earth and Moon sticker for the SNES controller that I want to say this came with the Maybe the 1994 bonus issue. And on my original NES controller, this is the 1993 New Year's one, which again has mostly gotten scratched off. During a Blockbuster when this generation got popular, we had to scrap so many PlayStation CDs. We had an N64 cartridge returned chewed on by a dog. And so, yeah, I mean, cartridges are hardcore. Cartridges can survive an amazing amount of damage, whereas CDs, like, the thing is, the sensitive parts of a cartridge are not exposed. That's the point of a cartridge. You're basically taking a board and encasing it in plastic armor, whereas a CD is just the storage medium just out there. Anything happens to it and it's fucked. I always thought it was neat that what was it, UMDs for the PSP were basically mini CDs with their own, like, they had their own like case to protect them. It always bothered me that we didn't do that with CDs. It always bothered me. Like, I feel like in like old like cyberpunk stuff, they had CDs that basically, like in cyberpunk stuff, CDs were like modern floppy disks. They had like I mean, we already had the template for it. All you needed was like that floppy disk case around a CD. UMDs are so cool conceptually, also obsolete from the beginning. Oh, that's crazy, Trade-On. Jesus, I didn't know that about Shining Force. I've been very anti-streaming service from the start. I haven't signed up for one since Netflix decided to decouple their DVD rental service and streaming lobby. I totally understand that, yeah. I am not... I'm not going to be the vanguard against streaming services. I'm currently subscribed to 3, but in my defense, I get all 3 of those for free through credit card perks. So. A lot of people have a huge amount of appreciation for the extra storage. Surely you've heard of CDs nuts. Got him. Neighbor kid just wanted to be a jerk to one of my sons and snapped my GameCube Legend of Zelda wing. Oh my god, dude. That kid would have never been seen again if they did that around me. UMDs sure did exist due to somebody's monkey paw wish. Didn't early CD-ROM things have their own safety caddies like PCI or something? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Because nothing would have played them. You would have needed a very special third-party player. Kid-sized patch of fresh dirt in the backyard. At this point, I'm mostly like, no, I'm obviously not gonna pay you $10 a month for your proprietary streaming service because you have one show I'm at, like, yeah. No, it's one of those things. It's like, streaming services, I think, are like back before DLC became a big thing. There was a chance, there was an opportunity for people to push back against it. There was an opportunity for the consumer public to vote with their wallets and cause DLC to fall flat on its face, so we wouldn't have to pay extra for things that are already on the disc. We wouldn't have to pay extra for horse armor and costumes and cheat codes and stuff like that. But that didn't happen. People opened their wallets anyway, it became big business, and it contributed to the eventual evolution of games as a service. That happened with streaming services too. I think there was an opportunity early on to let the early streaming services die when Netflix started to pivot in that direction, when Disney went online and stuff like that. I don't think there was ever going to be any great resistance against it because people are too inclined towards convenience. But whatever resistance there would have been to streaming services, COVID killed. COVID was an indescribable boon to streaming services and live service games for that matter. So I'm afraid that ship has sailed, like so many others. As a kid, I didn't fully understand writable discs. I burned an emulator with my saves to a disc and took it to summer camp. I couldn't save back onto the disc, so I was forever stuck in the same spot in Chrono Trigger and never finished the game that way. Aww. Worse than that, my youngest son took my original Zapper gun and took a pair of scissors and cut the cord off so he could use it to play with. Ouch. Oof. That hurts. Though Zapper, in the modern era, the Zapper does have pretty limited utility since, like, modern flat screen TVs and monitors don't really work with it, so could have been worse, I suppose. Did some dumb shit in my day too. I had my own laptop when I was a kid and insisted on shutting down the computer every few hours, taking out the hard drive and oh my god, Tradon. Yeah, really. Apparently really good man. Yeah, what company was that hard drive from? Jesus Christ. Worked on several big budget movies and TV shows during COVID. Once COVID was over, I got laid off because people weren't home to watch streaming as much. Yeah. I feel you, man. I've been like, I was in the game industry for 15 years and I got laid off almost a year ago now. Because all the COVID money dried up. Live service games weren't doing as hot, and our games in particular fell on hard times. So, and I am still looking at getting my career back in order, but it is a long process, and these are strange times indeed. Western Digital makes sense now. Western Digital's had a reputation for being bulletproof and apparently waterproof too. Anyway, seems like a good segue back into the magazine. Memory card bullshit. Byte 5, Mr. Yamauchi announced the read-write drive accessory for the Nintendo 64 would debut in 1996 at Shoshinkai, and one of the first games would be The Legend of Zelda 64. Another temporary title. Western Digital ebook 3 terabyte drive lasted 18 years. Jesus Christ, man. They deserve a medal for that. Her Concerned Ape actually has hired a team now. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Aw, bring on the 64 disk drive. Laptop died because the connector between the motherboard and the hard drive failed. The hard drive lived on until I eventually wiped it and handed it off to a friend. That's crazy, man. That's really, really cool. I'll take a look at that low dry. I will. Why not, right? All right, platform the game. Tech specs for it. Don't really care. Apparently Mario 64 was a big surprise. Truth is that the game Super Mario 64 shaped the Nintendo 64 hardware more than the hardware shaped the game. In a candid discussion with Nintendo Power, Shigeru Miyamoto revealed that he began thinking about Super Mario 64 5 years ago during the initial 3D work on Star Fox. Holy shit, we are like 5 years out from, well, at least the development of Star Fox. Jesus. Shape of this new game sharpened his imagination. The need for better hardware to run such a game became apparent. The seeds for the N64 aside. That's crazy, man. That's honestly crazy to think about. That in the SNES era, Miyamoto envisioned Mario 64 and pushed for hardware to be made to match his vision. Oh no, I'm not surprised they could do that, but I mean that is, I mean, I feel like that says a lot about Miyamoto. Not that what can be said about Shigeru Miyamoto, but I mean, it's no secret. It's not exactly a hot take to say he's like one of the most influential and forward-thinking game devs ever. But it's just crazy to think that he basically came up with a game and was like, we need hardware that can run this. We need more controllers made for games. Throw off the shackles of standards. Let your control options run free. I was at the SNES launch party in Issaquah, Washington back in the early 90s. They had several systems set up in a tent in the middle of a park field. We're gonna play Super Mario World Pilot Wings. That's so cool, dude. Oh my God. I got to go to E3 a couple years. Most notably 2003, I think. That was the year that they were showing both Doom 3 and Half-Life 2. And I think maybe World of Warcraft as well. But I still don't feel like that really compares to being able to preview the Super Nintendo. Like, that's just nuts. Alienware actually still works fine after 14, 15 years. It can't be upgraded to take Windows 11. In a way, I kind of feel like you're dodging a bullet there. I don't hate Windows 11, but it is really obnoxious with how shot through it is with like advertising for Microsoft bullshit. I am getting really tired of things I paid for trying to sell me more things. Like, low-key, this is one of the worst things about the modern era, is like you buy something or you subscribe to something and it ends up full of ads for like add-ons or expansions or pro modes or something for it. And I want to shake somebody. Not a fan of Windows 11. My newest Alienware came installed with it. Yeah. 2017 Alienware has Windows 10. Hey, out 10 is bugging me about installing 11, which isn't going to happen ever. I have to laugh, though. I have to laugh whenever I go to install, like, another browser or something. Or, like, I update Windows, and it updates... What is it? Edge is their browser? And it's like, oh, we added all these things to Edge, and we can import all your bookmarks and cookies and stuff. Please come back to Edge, please. And I'm like, no, shut the fuck up. It is just, it's endlessly pathetic to me how hard Microsoft endeavors to keep people away from like anyone else's software and how utterly ineffectual it is. But it's Chrome underneath. I have too much customized game dev software installed now, so I can't change it. Yeah, I understand how that is. This is why I only play mobile games without ads. If you can fucking find them, Jesus Christ. Don't want to use Chrome either. Well, the thing that there's Valve and Nintendo next to where I live, and when I hear trivia like that, or Lakitu supposedly being named after Tukwila, a place I go by fairly often, I'm like, huh? I'm at university, and one of my students told us they have a Nintendo present on their phone's contact list because that's their friend's dad. Shows you my desktop setup. I used to fiddle around with layouts all the time, and eventually found one I settled on. But I believe you have Trade On, yeah. I believe you have. It says we're in a capitalist hellscape. Apparently Discord has filed for a license for going public, and there's a survey. How do you open their user base to AI integration? Yeah. Yeah. Buttress your feelings for the future, chat, in case we have to migrate away from Discord. In case they go full shithead. Got a new comp with Windows 11. I worry about no longer getting updates. It keeps giving me problems. Yeah. Ditched Windows over a year ago and haven't regretted it at all. What do you, Rollenboard, what do you use? Out of curiosity. Fedora Linux. I might be driven to that at some point. I'm too lazy now. Like Windows 11 does what I need it to do and only occasionally irritates me. So, but if it gets much more intrusive with its advertising stuff, the last update installed some kind of game bar thing where like I went to play Hell Clock and all this bullshit popped up, all this like overlay stuff that I never asked for. And it's trying to tutorialize me on this, and I'm like, just how do I disable this? Just fucking tell me how to disable this. Discord fully shitifies. Imagine how many idle games will have to move their entire wikis. Oh, good point. Yeah. Honestly, like, Discord is a pretty important pillar of the gaming community. Like, more so than you might think. Like, most live service games have Discords that are more or less essential for keeping up with like the day-to-day goings on of those games. Like all of my dumb phone games have Discords that I need to check to see what's going on, because that's the first place you're gonna get information. Yeah, if Discord cocks themselves all up, like that's gonna be a huge blow to the gaming community as a whole. Like people are gonna scatter to the winds, and I am not looking forward to that. Like it was bad enough when like Twitter shot itself in the head. It's the year of IRC. Hit the Discord server join limit for the free accounts. Damn. I'm too much of an introvert for that, if you can believe it. Had to purge it. I love how a friend tries to get me to use Linux and then it goes, it's getting several updates a week. Most will break something important. You have to spend hours to fix it and continue using your shit. But it's so much better than Windows. I remember my dad my dad is much more militant about these things than me. Like he will drop a piece of software at like if it inconveniences him in the slightest way. He went through a Linux phase for a while, and I mean this was years back, so I don't judge Linux on this now. But like, yeah, he went through a Linux phase for like a couple months and then eventually came crawling back to Windows. He was like, yeah, it was too much trouble. We're going back to forums, everyone. You know, I do have a website. If worse comes to worse comes to worse, I could maybe implement some old school forums on my website. We could all migrate back over there. Or maybe I could carve out my own dedicated threads on something. Oh god, what are they called? Yeah, I guess threads on something awful. forgot about the website. Don't worry, everybody did. Because I don't update it anymore. I retired from writing full reviews. You're in Debian stable and not updated for like 4 years. Fedora does do updates all the time. It's on your time and doesn't just restart your computer and say, oops, we didn't get stuff open. We didn't update it. Yeah, I hate that shit. I hate that shit. You're definitely speaking to me, Aralnivore. I have a theory we're going to eventually re-enter the Webbring days of internet as more people try to flee the major social media sites. Better start collecting emojis now. I just don't want to get a Reddit. I will never migrate to Reddit. I will say that. I am not, never will be a Redditor. I only found out recently how much time my mom spends on Reddit, which kind of gave me pause. Work laptop is on Windows 10. I swear the damn thing insists on running a virus scan, doing updates every time I use it. Kind of minor Christmas gives some lavender tea. That sounds delicious. Very nice. Went there once to promote my last game demo and learned my lesson. Ooh. I'm sorry you had to learn the hard way, dude. Play on Reddit for the Drama Llama boards and crochet. Oh, that sounds so nice, Goat. That sounds so nice. Anyway, before we run out of time tonight, I feel like I should at least get through this Nintendo 64 feature. So let me skim a little bit more. Defining contribution to Super Mario 64 may not be that it drove the development of the Nintendo 64, but that it has created a new type of game. As distinctive as platform games, but infinitely more variable and realistic. In a single brilliant stroke, Miyamoto and his team created a new standard. I'm not sure I can read this next part in good conscience. I'm gonna try, chat. I'm gonna try. This is gonna hurt, but I'm gonna try. Previous games such as Doom, Myst, and Alone in the Dark just scratched the surface of 3D gaming environments. Either you blasted everything in sight, solved abstruse puzzles, or did a combination of both. In Super Mario 64, Mario roams freely throughout an interactive environment, discovering wonderful places and dangerous enemies. Discuss, chat. Discard goes to shit. I'll let you know what the furries who run the internet decide the solution. Okay, thank you. Thank you. At least then I'll have some reliable direction. With your arcane, sadly, my nephew, niece, and law got me lovely herbal tea. There's lavender as well, and on the heart tell him I don't like lavender at all. Mario 64 is pretty landmark, so despite the hyperbole, they're not terribly far off. Need to hit the sack. Hamster Hammer, thank you so much for coming out tonight. It was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us, and I hope to see you again in the future. Have a good one, buddy. Mario 64 is incredible. There's a lot you can say about it that would not be hyperbole, but my god, Nintendo Power has managed it. What's wild is that despite this being Nintendo Power hyping everything Nintendo up as usual, they're actually right here. 3D platformers have started to become a thing for Mario 64. Mario 64 introduced and established free directional controls as a 3D platformer and perfected how a 3D platformer could be designed. They aren't wrong, kind of did introduce an entirely new genre of 3D platformer. Good night, Around Labor. Thanks for coming out. It was good to see you. Okay. Okay. All right, if we're on board with this, I can accept this. I can accept this. I've been around the horn with Nintendo Power long enough to know that they blow a lot of smoke. But if y'all feel like this is justified, I'll let it ride. Same time, you can see how Mario 64 is incredibly clunky as designed compared to more. Oh yeah, certainly, yeah. But I mean, you can see how, you know, Doom is clunky compared to modern, well, some modern first-person shooters, some more recent ones. You know, the originator of a standard doesn't need to be and almost never is the best example of that. My hot take is that the thing is miserable to play. You know, again, I kind of have a hard time arguing with you. I love Mario 64. When I get N64 capabilities, we're gonna play through Mario 64 for sure. But it is definitely, like, it is far from my favorite Mario game, and there are a lot of nits you can pick about its controls and designs. So, how jealous would you say Sega and PC gamers were? Well, actually, Doom isn't all that clunky as soon as you take the keyboard turning out of the equation and map it to the mouse. Well, Doom also has certain limitations, like no ability to jump, no ability to look up or down, that do constrain it a bit. But, I mean, I feel like we're just splitting hairs at this point. Never liked playing Mario 64. I was incredibly amused watching GDQ have a bunch of people cycle through it, each one getting 1 star for passing controller. Oh, that sounds cool. Like a relay. As soon as you get to the second floor, Mario 64 starts to drag. Nobody likes wet, dry world. I think both things can be true. I think many things about Mario 64 can be true. Mario 64 can be a landmark in game design. It can be a huge leap forward in 3D controls. It can be the template for 3D platformers for decades to come. It can be difficult and ornery to play. It can have its share of problems that make it difficult to go back to in the modern era. All of these things can be true, you know? The gaming as we know it now is built on the foundations of games that the vast majority of people do not want to go back to, you know? Our 4Xs are built on the backs of games like Civilization and Civ 2, which I feel like a lot of people would have trouble going back to, you know? Huge franchises like Fallout were born out of some really clunky, really glitchy RPGs that most people would not have the patience for at this point. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. These, like, foundational games are very much products of their time. They don't necessarily have to stand the test of time because their impact is in the games that they inspire, you know? Mario 64 is absolutely one of the most important games ever made. Not because it's one of the greatest games ever made, but as y'all agreed with Nintendo Power, which is a very rare thing around here, I must remind you, it helped establish a lot of standards for 3D platformers for decades to come. Yahtzee once had a zero punctuation episode where he argued that Doom was clunky since everybody told him to play Brutal Doom because it ruled, but how modern can a game feel if you have to mod it that severely? Yeah, that was always a big thing for me when I was doing reviews, and I've always kind of felt that way. I don't ever want to judge a game based on its mods. If you can mod a game into the best game ever, that's cool, but that doesn't really speak to the quality of the base game. It speaks to the quality of the mod. Answer is you don't. Doom is fine without Brutal Doom, and this is the way lots of people choose to play it nowadays. Yeah. I've actually never played Brutal Doom. I enjoy base Doom enough that I don't feel the need to experiment with Brutal Doom, and I also, frankly, just don't want to wade into the balkanized mire that is the trad Doom people versus the brutal Doom people. For instance, a bunch of Zoomers I know are all playing old awful games and having a grand old time. I mean, these things can also go in phases too, you know. When people burn out on modern media, they often go back to older and to them undiscovered stuff. Heavily modded Minecraft is way more fun than vanilla though. I mean, to each their own. Really depends on what you're looking for. I always remember this. Okay, y'all know Sea Dogs, right? The like janky Eastern European like open world pirate game. The sequel to Sea Dogs was rebranded as a Pirates of the Caribbean game and is in pretty much every way a better game than the original Sea Dogs. It's much more stable. It's much more fleshed out. There's a lot more things to do. But still feels like an incomplete game. It feels like they had plans for something even bigger that didn't get fully realized. I remember there was a like big super mod for it that kind of endeavored to flesh out everything that seemed to be missing from it, like expand the trading system, add a bunch of new quests, add content to areas that were otherwise empty, add new dialogue options, do all this crazy stuff. And people said, like, this is the definitive way to play the game. It makes it so much better. And I remember playing it and just it losing a lot of the appeal that the base game had for me because it had been expanded in so many different ways. And for me, it felt very directionless. Like, this is kind of my big thing with modding, is like, modding more often than not turns the game into a new game. Modding is, to me, very often not like a direct objective improvement over the base game. It's someone's vision of what the original game should have been. And that's a different game. And that's not always what I'm looking for. So, I fully admit I'm kind of a weirdo when it comes to mods. I'm something of a purist. I have weird hang-ups about wanting to experience the original like vision of a game and judging it on those merits and stuff. So I fully admit I don't engage with mods as widely and freely as a lot of people do, but I also don't think I'm off the mark here. I think it needs to be understood that modded games are really entirely different beasts from the base game. And if the base game is what you're looking for, you know, a mod that people say like objectively improves it might not actually be what they're looking for. Remember someone talking about a video someone else made about games are boring now. There's no more originality, and apparently the guy just plays nothing but Minecraft. Very strong opinions about the direction that Minecraft devs are taking the game, so mods changing the game completely is very okay. I mean, yeah. No, I'm not. This is not me trying to denigrate mods in any way. This is me kind of explaining my position on why I tend to lean away from mods. Quest 64 mods objectively improve it. I don't engage with mods very often. I mainly play console games on consoles. Yeah. Currently playing through some StarCraft 2 rando. SC2 randos? Is that StarCraft 2? Lots of extra units, as cool as it is. Sometimes more isn't really better. Yeah. Okay, cool. Sorry. SC2 could honestly be a lot of things. With as many games that are out there. I agree with modding. I try to get as close to vanilla experience as possible and pile on mods which cater my taste later. Yeah, that tends to be something that I have to consider pretty seriously when I play old games, because sometimes I need mods just to get them to work right. Like, I streamed Dark Forces before it got an official remake, so I need to mod in like mouse support just to be able to play it in any kind of reasonable way. When I did the old Thief games, I modded those for graphics because they look janky as fuck. Like, they look dated at the time, and that was like 20 odd years ago. So I will mod things. I'll usually mod things for like graphical or like for graphical improvements or bug fixes. I'm generally not very interested in like content revisions or expansions, though I feel like that is a mental block I can get over someday, and I should get over someday. Like, one of my few streaming regrets was never spending the time to do it's not mods per se, but I didn't do Thief 2 custom maps back when we did Thief 2, and I really should have. May I request more Picross? No. Too late in the evening for that, I'm afraid. But like, people have modded. I'm thinking Morrowind right now. I have Morrowind on the brain at the moment. People have modded and expanded Morrowind exponentially. And I feel like that could potentially be a really, really cool thing to get into. But I'm just, again, mental block. I have this wariness about it. And like, we're gonna do Deus Ex sometime in the near future. I'm not gonna do like Deus Ex Revision or Shifter or anything like that. I want, when I stream something for the first time in particular, I wanna have as close to an original experience as possible. Fallout has a fixed mod which makes the game viable for widescreen resolutions, also adds minor quality of life things like companions not getting stuck. That's usually what I aim for. Yeah, and when I did OG Fallout, I'm pretty sure I used that mod. I think mechanics tweaks, especially in SDV, having the ability to pause time makes it so much more relaxing. I can understand that. Stardew Valley, SDV, Stardew Valley. Be very down to see the Return of Thief streaming. I mean, yeah, there's no reason I can't do it. So. Deus Ex is also on my list of games to check out. I missed that one. Has never been spoiled for you. Damn. Okay. Might I advise getting on it sooner rather than later? Because that OG Deus Ex is on my short list to stream in the near future. We play a stream Deus Ex, use Kenzie's launcher and nothing else. Makes HQ viable, fixes bugs. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. If and when we do Deus Ex Invisible War, you better believe I'm gonna mod that thing as much as I can just to make it fucking playable. That game is a dumpster fire of code. All right, I am gonna try and skim through the rest of this feature so I can say that we did it. Super Mario 64's contribution to the development of the Nintendo 64 didn't stop with setting requirements for 3D graphics. It also dictated a special new controller would have to be created. It should come as no surprise that the N64 controller feels as if it were made for Mario 64. It was. Control of Mario has never been so precise, and Mario has never before had so many abilities to help him combat. Okay. Quick shout out to the Mario 64 controls. They are absolutely not blowing smoke here. Super Mario 64 has some of the most sublime controls ever. I know Mario can be a little bit squirrely. I know the camera can be finicky. But if you take the time to come to grips with the controls, it is some of the most precise and satisfying control in a 3D game like ever. Yeah, it feels amazing to move around in. It really, really does. There are a lot of nits you can pick about Mario 64, but holy shit, the controls are transcendent. The camera does get super annoying. Yeah. And I'm like, I'll give him straight up, I'll give him a pass on the camera. It was early days, you know? I mean, Mario 64 came about in an era with fixed camera angles. I mean, they name drop games like Myst and Alone in the Dark. Myst, everything is pre-rendered. Alone in the Dark had fixed camera angles. And Doom is first person. So, I mean, they had to do a lot of pioneering work. And like third person cameras are fucking hard, okay? For a third person platformer, third person 3D platformer with all kinds of complex architecture and stuff, like, that is a real challenge to figure out how to do things. So yeah, it's not perfect. It is far from perfect. But I still allow they did a good job with it. How few A presses can you beat it with? To figure that out, we need to talk about parallel universes. Site Max Payne is a game that did a really good job with third. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It's seriously an all-time great line. It seriously is. But first. Oh my god. In addition to the cool control stick, 10 buttons on the N64 controller offer a wide range of play control. C buttons. Triggers. Large A and B buttons control main functions. Z trigger is hidden beneath the controller. As for the crosspad on the left side of the controller, Shigeru Miyamoto concedes that it is there in part in case people don't feel comfortable with the control stick, although it could be used for other functions. Now that's kind of interesting. It makes it sound like there could have been a version of the N64 controller that was normal. That didn't have the entire left side and was just like analog stick, trigger, face buttons. Yeah. The disk drive. During his speech at Shoshinkai, Mr. Yamauchi described the need for a high-speed mass-volume memory device without the limitations of CD-ROM. ROM, he explained, needs read-only memory. All it can do is read data, but what if you had a storage medium that also allowed you to write in data? With such a device, you can make an entirely new kind of game. That new kind of game will debut this fall when the first games debut at the next Shoshinkai, but Nintendo Power can now reveal the first details of the new magnetic disk system. The 64DD, as is being called this time, makes use of a high-density magnetic disk capable of accepting a raid from Affinity. Chris, holy shit, man. Thank you so much. How you doing tonight? Thank you so much for the raid. What's going on? We are just reliving the early glory days of 1996 and a far too early preview of the Nintendo 64. Dragons or something. What's up, Vic? Good to see you. Chris, always a pleasure. Hope you're doing well tonight. Oh, it's so good to be back to the Power Hours. I actually haven't done a Power Hours stream in like over a month. I've been distracted with work and other things, so it's been a real nice return to form. It's been nice having like a really chatty stream. Didn't really realize how much I miss these until I do another one. So yeah, glad y'all could join us tonight. We're talking about the N64 disk drive. Poor benighted thing that it could have been. High density magnetic disk capable of holding 64 megabytes of information, or about 8 times the amount of data that cartridge-based Nintendo 64 games regularly will hold. The seek time of the drive averages 150 milliseconds compared to about 212 for one of the new 6-speed CD-ROMs, or 320 for double speed. Data transfer speed on the 64DD is approximately 1 megabyte per second. A 6-speed CD-ROM only manages 900 kilobytes per second. Most significant fact is it can be written to, not just read from. Users may include customization of games, creativity programs such as a 3D Mario Paint, and it means to download games and programs from network or satellite sources. The flexibility of the system is greatest strength, making it a perfectly complementary device for the ultimate game machine. Oh, what could have been. I have opinions about the 64DD. Most add-ons for prior systems added additional functionality and allowed devs to use tricks and hardware power the base systems didn't have. TurboGrafx CD, Sega CD, 32X, despite what a mistake it was, etc. Says that Nintendo PlayStation comes out, we'll see some real advances. Are they gonna... Oh, we're gonna talk about the game guys. God, Miyamoto looks so young here. The DD64 is explicitly designed with the intention of allowing cheaper access to 64 meg storage for devs. In terms of features, it added a real-time clock and maybe online connectivity, but that's it. They make it sound from the puff piece, frankly, that its big selling point would be writable media. That there would be like an interactive or like user generated element to games on the 64DD. So I have to wonder how much emphasis there was on that behind the scenes, because Nintendo Power seems really, really excited about the potential of it, but yeah. Think of how many Picross maps you could store. I mean, thinking about the modern era of gaming, like, yeah, we have things like character customization and like, I don't know. We don't actually, in modern games, we don't actually do a whole lot with like kind of player interaction and like content generation. I mean, discounting stuff like Minecraft, certainly. Like we have a subset of games. I guess Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, could you have done something like a Minecraft or like these like survival building sims on something like the 64DD? Is it worth developing for an entirely new add-on just because it has rewritable storage? If you have a killer idea for it, if you have a killer app for it. I mean, I'm envisioning a world where Minecraft or a pared down version of Minecraft made it onto the 64DD. You know, over a decade before it became the phenom that it did. But I mean, that's obviously a huge long shot. You know, you would have needed the right place and the right time, the right person in the right place at the right time with the right hardware for that to happen. So, and I mean, from a investment side, it doesn't really make sense. I'm asking because, like, Nintendo Power poses the big selling point of the 64DD, aside from the storage space, which Trade-On has covered quite helpfully. The big selling point, the big innovation of the 64DD is rewritable storage, implying that players would be able to leave some kind of customization, have some kind of direct effect on the game itself. And my mind went to games that hinge on user-generated content like Minecraft and Satisfactory, games where you basically remake the game world in your own image, you know? So yeah, I'm just kind of, or like you say, Super Mario 64 Maker or something. I mean, I guess an early version of Mario Maker could have made it on something like the 64DD. Like, to me, that would have made it worth it, but you would need somebody. You would have needed developers with that kind of vision. Again, a full decade before it came into existence in our timeline. And I don't know if they had people like that. I mean, maybe this interview article will shed some light on that. I'm going to skim this real quick. You're going to love Mario artist Polygon Studio. All right, let's see here. Most gamers instantly recognize the name of Miyamoto. True enough. Creator of Mario and Zelda. Continues to be one of the most personable men in the industry. Relaxed, humorous, but thoughtful and always open to ideas. After answering our questions, Miyamoto plied us with his own questions about American gamers. Takashi Tezuka may not be as well known as Miyamoto. His work shows much the same type of genius and attention to detail. In Yoshi's Island, Tezuka had the hands-on control as director of the game's development, while Miyamoto managed the larger issues as a producer. Super Mario 64, those roles were reversed. And they will also work together on The Legend of Zelda 64, I suppose, what became Ocarina of Time. When did you begin work on Super Mario 64? Back when he was working on Star Fox. I'd always wanted to do a game that recreated an entire world in miniature, like miniature trains. When I saw it could be done with 3D modeling on the Star Fox game, I knew we could do much more. Super Mario 64, as you see here, is about 50% complete, but only 20% mapped out. We worked on this game for a year and a half, but design work on the game concept began a year before that. Did you find the game ideas drive new technology, or is the opposite true? Hardware technology is very important. We rely too much on the hardware and not enough on ideas. You won't make games. You'll have demonstration software. The N64 can produce advanced images. If that's all we emphasize, the game will be boring. The problem we face is how to use advanced technology to enhance gameplay. The age-old question. Is there a philosophy that guides your game development? In Super Mario 64, I wanted to include more details. The ideas we use in the game come from real life, but they may not seem so. During the development of Mario 64, Mr. Tezuka got an idea about putting his wife in the game. His wife is very quiet normally, but one day she exploded, mad by all the time he spent at work. In the game, there is now a character who shrinks when Mario looks at it, but when Mario turns away, it'll grow large and menacing. This is the image he got from his wife, and we thought it would be great for the game. How does your wife feel about this? Tezuka laughs. She knows. What is the most important thing you can achieve with the Nintendo 64? Before in earlier games, we couldn't show the entire game world in detail, and we couldn't convey all the emotions of the characters. Now we can do that. I've always wanted to create realistic experiences. Gets eaten by a boob. How will Legend of Zelda 64 and other games make use of the 64 DD? It's too early to say much about Zelda. Right now is only demonstration. The read-write disk in general terms gives us the ability to create software tools the player can use. Games such as Mario Paint or SimCity can be customized and saved. We might make a 3D painting system like Mario Paint, but in 3D. In some games, you could change backgrounds and other elements. You could also back games up. Does 64DD turn the Nintendo 64 into a sort of PC? We think that the Nintendo 64 will be better in every respect than PCs. We were plug and play long before the PC market ever heard of such a thing, and since we use a TV monitor for display, we don't need extra hardware for running movies and such things. Okay, so in terms of accessibility, yes, absolutely. Trying to play PC games in the 90s. Okay, chat. I know some of you, possibly a lot of you, played games in the pre-DirectX era. I know there are plenty of you out there who struggled with boot discs and the like. Those of you who didn't, I really cannot impress upon you how difficult it was. Every single time you got a new game for your PC, every single one, something would go wrong. IRQ settings, yeah. Sound device settings, graphical settings. And my Amiga ears are listening. Every single game you got for PC had its own quirks. When I got SimCity 2000, I got the CD-ROM version. I got the CD-ROM DOS version. And I was so excited. And I installed it, and it would not run. Well, no. It would launch, and I'd get a few minutes into the game, and it would die. And I ended up calling tech support for it. I mean, I did everything. I followed old PC game manuals, or sometimes not in the manual, sometimes it was just like an insert, had guides for creating boot discs for your game because your old like 486 needed the full scope of its processing power to run a single PC game. But boot disk, everything done, nothing would work. I could not get this game to work. I ended up calling like Maxis customer support. And the solution to my problem was in DOS. Before I ran SimCity 2000, I had to scan the CD-ROM directory. I had to do, what was it? Backslash dir d:, to get DOS to show me an index of what was on the CD-ROM because, for whatever reason, once SimCity 2000 started running, it would not access the CD-ROM anymore unless the CD-ROM had already been accessed through DOS by, like, pinging the file structure. And that worked. Every time I wanted to play SimCity 2000, I had to check the CD-ROM directory. And it worked perfectly. '90s PC gaming was the wild fucking west. Yeah, I basically had to pre-mount it. I still remember the Maxis person telling me I basically had to wake up the CD-ROM drive. That's what I was doing. I was priming the CD-ROM drive so that SimCity 2000 could access it while it was running. Because for some fucking reason, if I didn't do that, SimCity 2000 didn't realize I had a CD-ROM drive and the game would just crash. Because it was going to try and access something it didn't realize was there. I can't explain it. I don't think I ever will be able to explain it. But that, in a nutshell, is 90s PC gaming. Yeah, it was probably something missing from the boot disk that was like a specific consideration for my system. But yeah, that was the solution. You do know the history of the Wing Commander? Thanks for playing Wing Commander message. No, I don't, actually. I have precious little knowledge of the Wing Commander series in general. And definitely not about any specific messages in it. So please lay it on me. I'm gonna run through the rest of this while you lay it out. Consider getting a good PC. It was the best we could do at the time. It was a Pentium 75 or something. No, it was a 4675 that we later upgraded to like the most basic Pentium available. Those were the days. People still ask why not use CD-ROM. For games you need backup and flexibility. CD-ROM doesn't have that. 64DD will. We aren't making movies, so we've chosen the disc system. Did you help design the controller too? Design began at the start of the process to create the Nintendo 64. We knew we wanted characters to be able to move in 3D in certain ways. How much of the game is finished? About 20. What can you tell us about Mario Kart 64 R? Many improvements over the Super Famicom version. We didn't want to show the game here because the improvements in gameplay have not all been added yet. Looks very good. Doesn't play much better than the original so far. That will come. When it's finished, I'll have many new options, more items, excellent control, 4-player modes, and da-da-da-da-da. They ain't blowing smoke here. I know that Mario Kart 64 is a huge improvement over SNES Mario Kart. The game crashed when you shut it down through an error message. They were on time crunch to get the game out, so they rewrote the error message to say, thanks for playing Wing Commander. No, that's brilliant. That's great. Because to the end user, that's no different. Like, it becomes indiscernible. Oh no, SNES Mario Kart definitely has its place. Mario Kart 64 wouldn't exist without SNES Mario Kart. And I've grown to appreciate SNES Mario Kart over time. I also missed Mario Kart 64. I'm not actually sure I've ever played it, to be completely honest with you. My Mario Kart was Double Dash on the GameCube. I was fucking obsessed with that game. I have played precious few GameCube games, but my roommate in college had a GameCube and he had Mario Kart Double Dash, and I fucking locked in on that game. F-Zero and Wave Race were the only racing games I had fun with. I never played. I think I have. I got the N64 F-Zero on Wii Virtual Console and played it a bit. Wave Race I loved. Wave Race was one of the few N64 games I got into. Double Dash was the last Mario Kart game I played for a long time. GameCube is a hell of a system, yeah. We're gonna, sometime in the future, we're gonna spend some quality time with GameCube. Because that is, that is one of the most regrettable systems that I overlooked in my experience. Mario Kart 64 is the first racing game you had fun with, got pretty good at it. After getting a chance to play 8DX, tricks feel very essential now. Okay, I think that's all the important information, so. All right, I am going to leave us here, chat. I think this is a decent place to stop. We will come back next time on the Power Hours, and we'll talk about the actual N64 games they're showing. Some of these early previews are really interesting. Some of these early previews are for games that didn't end up existing. I've peeked ahead to the next couple pages, so I think we'll have a lot to talk about here. I wonder if Analog will have a GameCube like by the time Oddish gets here. Fortunately, GameCube emulation is excellent. So when I want to dive deep into GameCube games, that won't be an issue. We should be in good shape for that. I can't. Disk systems, I don't think it'd be really practical for me to do authentic hardware for most of them. Collecting the games themselves is cost prohibitive. So, yeah. But it's a case-by-case thing. I am fortunate enough to have PlayStations up through 4. So in those cases, with specific games at least, I can track them down. But like, yeah, the GameCube prices went absolutely insane. There's no way I could build a GameCube collection for myself these days. So I'm definitely taking the emulation route there. You ever played a Pikmin? No. I know basically nothing about Pikmin. Seriously, the only things I ever played on GameCube, I played Double Dash. I played Double Dash. And I played Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem on stream. That's it. That's it. Ever played the original? I played a little bit of it. Back when I was in college. I have held a GameCube controller. Yes, because I played Double Dash. I played Double Dash on an actual system with an actual controller, so I'm very comfortable with a traditional GameCube controller. They're fine for me. I don't have a problem with them. But yeah, I would say out of the entire GameCube library, I played 2 games. I played Double Dash, and I played Eternal Darkness. That's it. That's it. That is it. So a significant amount of streaming sometime in the future is going to be taken up acquainting myself with the GameCube library. I went to Japan. There are these strange Pikmin-like guys who are really muscular, big bara faces, and big ass. Wait, what? Need to play more GameCube games. I think we all do. GameCube, I would say the GameCube was a very underrated system. GameCube had the unfortunate distinction of being up against what? Well, what was that? The Xbox and the PS3? Question mark? It had stiff competition at the time, I know that. So anyway, chat, as Was it still PS2? I can't remember how these things line up. OG Xbox and PS2. Okay. So then it would have been 3. That's right. Yes. Yes. Because it was 360, PS3, and the Wii. Because the Wii scared Microsoft and Sony into adding motion controls to the PS3 and the 360. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. PS Wii 60. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anyway, chat, as much as I'm enjoying this, as much as I have thoroughly enjoyed this evening, I gotta let y'all go. It is getting late. We have gotten through a full 25 pages of Nintendo Power, which is better than some nights we do here. And it was a return to form. It was the return to the magazine that we needed. It was the right time in the right place with the right thing. So I'm glad we did this, chat. All right, schedule. I am not streaming tomorrow night. I'm working late. I won't even be home until like 11 p.m. or something. But I will be streaming Monday and Tuesday. Monday, we'll be finishing mini shoot adventures, going for that good 100% completion. Tuesday, I'm thinking Hog Night. Just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. I'm thinking we do a Hog Night on Tuesday. It's been a hot minute. And I feel like hogging it up. Beyond that, I will let y'all know next week. I think I've got a bit of a stringent schedule next week. I think I'm gonna be working late a lot of nights, so I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do next week beyond Monday and Tuesday. But again, we'll talk about that on Monday and Tuesday. So yeah. Please make sure it's one with the most atrocious animations and writing possible. I mean, the last hog we did was Nightmares from the Deep, right? Like, that's one of the best I've ever played. So yeah, we need to rummage around in the garbage for the next one. So I'll do what I can. I will not disappoint. So yeah. Let's go find somebody to raid. Folks were nice enough to shoot me some solid raids tonight. Can we send some out to anybody else? I tell you what, I haven't yeeted y'all over to Big Sig in a while. Let's do that. He is doing some Yu-Gi-Oh! In fact, we were talking about virtual TCGs earlier. Let's go see how he's doing. So anyway, gang, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for joining me for the Power. Nintendo Power. Oh, 1996. The year of the N64. The year of hearing about the fucking N64. I hope you're ready for this, chat. I hope you're ready for an entire year of this. And then Super NES games on top of that. If it makes you feel any better, there will be some really interesting and kind of niche Super NES games to check out this coming year. So we'll have stuff to talk about. We'll have stuff to do. But yeah, the N64 is going to be the topic du jour. So, yeah. Anyway, gang, thanks again for coming out. Hopefully I will see you on Monday for the end of Mini Shoot Adventures. But until then, as always, y'all take care. Bye, everybody.